What's going on, everybody? Time for an insane recap. We absolutely murdered today in the market. We love days like today. How did we know? Let's get into the X and the free post I call for you guys today. Once in a while, we throw these freebies out. I try to do a daily recap on all this stuff. Yesterday, my daughter got pink eye, so unfortunately, we had to do some dad mode stuff, and we were super busy, but let's get back into it today. How did we know? What is this insane day in the thumbnail? The P&L was there. We started off today by saying we had above and below levels today here and a lot above levels. And I said, QQQ has some speed coming long after 7:30 a.m. Central when the data hits out, because my algo system showed some really big confluence points. We were going up in my Discord, posting for everybody right here, showing exactly what we needed to see, giving our targets, giving our entries, showing everybody the playthrough data, so on and so forth. And now coming into some of the biggest calls that we had today over an hour ago. Told everybody short the NQ, circle the big one under 460. We're going to come down to 457.65, right? And we have way more targets to the low side, but I'm not posting all those for free. And now we have a huge trade day on my short call. It is massive, right? We posted this way before it happened, like we tried to do, and we move in. That was the Qs one. So the Qs one was massive, and the whole Discord went nuts today. My team killed today on these. We got the team P&Ls here, super solid $500 days, huge 12K days. Another 300 solid, 6,500, 2,000 plus, 2,222K down the mirrored accounts for Mason. You're absolutely stunning. So super proud of everybody today in the chat. You guys nailed it. And wait, there's more. You bet. I posted another SPY short because everybody missed on the NQ one. If you weren't there fast enough, I gave you a really easy one on SPY saying underneath the level here, target short for SPY is the 100 EMA 5-minute. 547.61. As long as we are under 549.76, we are in play short. So I gave you guys another golden pocket smash underneath here. Took another 15 points there on SPY. Called it again way before it happened. An amazing day. Let's look at that P&L for the day. Absolutely massive. And we did this live, guys. This is not just a text service through Discord on where I teach. I narrated this, posted this all during live trade. Well, we hit it again. More members, just monster day. All right, super proud of you guys. It's almost like you guys paid attention to the YouTube videos that we post, you know, something like this. Resistance. So what you want to look for, and the only other scenario is to wash it so it breaks under, and that requires news and catalyst. So if we don't get the loop and swoop to the downside, that's option one. We're going to get something that breaks through the 10 SMA right here and just dives into the gap, bounces at the gap, and then continues down. Oh man, geez, if only somebody would have told me the scenarios we were looking for at the exact levels we were looking for with the exact targets. Oh, I don't know, 8 days ago. Come on, let's get into it. So into some of the trade days today. I'm only going to break down certain things today because there's a lot of algo systems that I hide from people that were in play today. The data pop to short. I'm going to give you guys the regular on how to play a lot of this stuff. We're going to start with the old SPY, okay? Everybody knows where that gap was on SPY's daily. We've been looking for it to push down into there with the 50 SMA, right? Well, we have it charted off right here. The big purple ball says daily gap fill, 544.94. And we had a no tag yesterday. What does that mean? Well, here at Boiler Room Trading, we have certain trade systems, and I'll let you guys in on a few of these here on YouTube, where we understand gaps very well. Now, a first tag gap, and again, if you watched my YouTube videos for last week, you know exactly what's going on and you're all caught up. Awesome for you. Now, when we come into the gap right here, you see that gap fill? We had a day yesterday which pushed into that gap and did not fill. So if I mark the top of the gap with this white level right here, and we got the purple on the bottom of the gap on the intraday, my whole team knew that we weren't going to fill that yesterday because it's a first tag gap algo. I teach this stuff daily live, my friends. Here's that white line right here that starts the gap. Here is the fill. The first time we have pushed into the gap, we were not going to fill. It was going to consolidate and do nothing. Okay, for Thursday, we were correct. The first tag, no gap. We called this in our chat. Our Discord was extremely prepared. We teach this system all the time. My target short, even coming from down here, was the 50. It's not going to come the first day after the dump. So we called the dump day, comes in, gets close, has a little bit of a relief. We put an over-under level out at 5.526 cents. If we are under that with fleeting weakness, continued weakness, and we got the moving average catch up right there, as you can see on the screen, the 666. We will crush down to the gap and lower as called, and posted all before it happened on Twitter today. Now, if we get into the gap fill, we knew it wasn't going to fill yesterday. Why was it going to fill today? Well, it's a second tag. That's how algos work a lot of the times. Now let's get into some of the stuff that we've seen here. How I use the fibs, and this is probably just a broken record for you guys who've been following me for a long time. We do the high-low fib. We find the 5-minute candle, 7:30 a.m. Central for the data release, and I put this high-low, okay? And as you've seen earlier on X, we posted the long play into the short reversal for the target of the gap fill. Now let's take a peek at what we're staring at here. Standard Fibonacci, right? I'm going to delete the top gap level so it looks nice and clean. And we have a fib box, high low of the 5. Fib box, and this is the golden pocket right above and below the 50. So in between the 38.20 to the 61.8 Fibonacci is the golden pocket. Now, this is where I called the short to come down underneath. We called 549.77 before it happened because the fib box price action was going to push out, stall, fall back inside this fib box, right? So if we failed to break out of the box and run, we were definitely coming down, which was the thesis, 100% short bias for today. Let's look at those levels. Washed out right through the golden pocket and down. And again, I did call this gap fill for our team, netting us even on ES and over 200 points on NQ. From short entry call was 53 points. And as you can see by the P&L, we caught a monster chunk of that. But how did we do it? The Fibonacci was key number 1, okay? Pushed outside of the range box, tried to hold up, fell inside the range box, and down she went. And like I said on the X post, we target things on the way down to cover. So you are shorting here, you are covering into the 100 EMA, and that's what I posted for you guys for free. Now coming back down to the final target of the gap, 53 points, we knew the continuation was going to continue further, right? Absolutely massive just off the fib. What else could we have used for confirmation here? Well, let's look at our oscillation like always. I want to show you guys that 2-day trend that we had seen here, where we were getting some very nice sauce to the inside. That 666 moving average catch up, which is a SMA, that's the 666 hit yesterday. We needed that to catch up and push down for resistance continuation because nothing goes in a straight line in the stock market. We wait for catalyst catch up, okay? So as the oscillation states here, we had a really nice pre-low, runs all the way back up to hot and just dumps. Well, how do you play that? How is that playable? Well, we have a couple different instances here we can look at, but we got to go a little bit farther out today. We knew this was happening, obviously within the last 8 days of a scenario, but let's look at some of the longer time frames. So we'll go to the 15 and the 30 minute a lot of the time, and we'll play the catch up here for the oscillation if we do not get great outlooks on the 5-minute, which is our mandatory main outlook. So let's take a peek at the weakness from yesterday. Stuck in the bottom channel, both the MACD and the RSI, below the 0 line on the MAC, below 50 on the RSI, which means downtrend heavy. Okay, well, look what it did yesterday. Barely popped, again, held into the bottom of the channel and dead. We knew this day was not going to fill, like we said, because it's the first gap tag. Into today, look at that 15-minute cross. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. So the 15-minute came up, and I'll show you another algorithm just because I'm super nice today for the base of pre-market and how we went long, because that was my first call that I showed you on X, into this to the drop. So how do we know it was going to go long? Well, I'll cover that in a second. As we got into this, we noticed the 200 SMA catch up here for resistance on the 15-minute. And we also seen this beautiful cross right here at open. Histogram started coming back down, started getting the speed off that first half hour out of the gate. We broke inside the fib box to the down. That's all we needed because we were already programmed to gap fill this week. We were telling you this 8 days ago when it looped the 10 SMA, which is right here. Once it broke underneath that 10 SMA, which is a daily, this is the daily 10 SMA. It's just coded into the intraday charts. So this big dash blue line is 10 SMA daily. Once we got underneath there, like we said, we can panic right down to that 50 SMA daily. Now, what do we know about shying? Let's take another little piece of the pie here. Look at the shy. When action came down almost low a day back here, excuse me, on 9-3, we shied that 50 SMA daily. And that means price action came super close to the 50 SMA daily, which is this guy. Shied away, hit it after hours, does not count. It's after hours, not live action. Came and held the pre, again, doesn't count, not live action. So as we move back into it, we were going to get a first tag 50 bounce. Well, lo and behold, that was this guy here. This is the first tag 50. We finally click into it yesterday, and we're not going to fill that gap because gap fill is right here, right? Not going to fill that because this is the 50 tag support has to hold first, and then a continuation metric has to hit. You can see what they did on the futures because they love manipulating overnight. The futures market, as we push down, 10 points on ES equals 1 point on the SPY. So as ES was coming down, this 10 points, we're going to move about a point. And VIX is high, so we should get about 3 total to the gap right here in the pre, and that's the push. So how did I know to go long in the pre? Well, I'll give you this last freebie. There's a very interesting algo set right here, 2245. This appeared on both indices. Qs. Did we clear this one? We did. Okay, perfect. Qs and SPY, right? So as we come into this Fibonacci, again, it's a fib box, like we just explained. It's pointed to the downside, which means extensions outside of this box will hit and then reverse potentials, right? Utilizing the MAC and the RSI. Well, we can see the RSI helped us out a little bit on the higher low, but we moved outside of the fib box and came into the 1618. And for our group, we know what to do at the 1618 when we start to see support being held. We usually tentatively move back up. So prior to that data, I was actually long calling here from the higher low setup you see in pre-market coming into data because we had the fib algo back here after hours telling us that the computers were chatting, right? And then we got an insane breakaway with that data, which again was expected. We called it long pre before it happened on X, right? We said it was going to go long after 7:30. And of course, this pop was going to be sold down because the last 8 days we were telling you it was going to go short under the 10 SMA, regardless if it looped and swooped or panicked through. We were still coming down to the gap fill this week. All right. So with that being said, we love to hit these days. You want to trade with us live? The link's in the description. We do this every single morning on Discord. Now, disclaimer, I'm not going to be here next week. I know I'm your favorite cancer patient, but next week I finally get my colostomy bag and I get my tumors removed out of the colon. I'm so excited. So I will be off this next week here because I finally get a little bit of pain relief and I finally get into surgery and I finally can get some of this stuff taken care of. But my business partner will be taking care of everything next week and he'll be trading live every single morning like we do always. I'll be in chat. I'll probably be on live. I won't be doing the full screen share like I always do daily just because of my cancer removal. Now, if anything sounds awesome to you, you want to jump on in, hey, the Discord has the links. If you want to support the channel another way for the data that we give out and that we gave out today and this last week and all the days that we do, sign up with Apex. You want to trade with them? We got links. Sign up with Top Step. You want to sign up with them. And if that sounds good to you, we'll see you in chat. If not, we'll see you guys on the next video.